Hey guys, welcome to Coding Techniques. In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with the biometrics with the native applications for authentication purpose. So without wasting any time, let's get started. At first, you need to create a project for which this is the command that you need to run. Ionic start and then the project name blank, whichever type of project you want to use. Then the type is Angular and a standalone project I'm using here. After that, you need to install the capacitor native biometrics plugin. Once you do that up, don't worry, we will discuss about it in details. But in this video, you just need to sit back and relax. I'm going to show you all the stuff pretty quickly so that you can just copy my code and work with it pretty smoothly. Then after this is done, installation is done, you need to change your package ID, which is very much needed when you're working with the iOS applications in Xcode. So I recommend to use a different app ID, which you need to perform in capacitor.config.ts. You need to change it up. You don't need to perform anything. You just need to change it. After doing so, you can even change the app name also if you want to. After doing that, you need to run Ionic build and create the platforms for Android and iOS. If you're using Windows, then you simply need to go for Android platform. If you're using Mac, then you can add the iOS platform too. After you have done with this configuration part, you simply need to go ahead and work with the design part. Here, for example, I am taking the login screen, which I have already built in the previous video. You can see the link is there in the description and on the top right corner of yours. Go and click and check the video out there. After doing that, just copy the code from there and get it ready. This is needed because we are going to modify this design as per our need and work with that. So I prefer to do the same stuff here. Now let's get back to our homepage HTML file where this is the form that I have designed, okay, for this particular design to work. Okay, this is my code up till here, the form, and then we are doing everything in the card one. Don't focus on this particular stuff because this is what we are going to implement right now. Like I said, you just need to sit back and relax. I'm going to show you each and every stuff that you need to learn. After this is done, the CSS that we have performed, I'm just going to show you in brief what exactly we have done. We have taken a background image which is already available in our assets folder. And then for the card one, we have performed the glass effect that you can just look at it. This is the main stuff that is needed and rest is history. Just check it out. You will understand each and everything. Just forget this particular code here. This is needed for our new one. Apart from that, everything will be done pretty nicely. After that, in the homepage TS file, you just need to work with the init form here, the toggle password and the submit function. Up till here, you will get all the stuff in the code that I have shared in the previous video, and you will be ready to work with me from here on. One more thing I just missed out in the app.component.ts file for the icons that we are using in this particular video. So in the previous video up till here, the icons were needed. I have added the trash one, which we need right now. So I'll just comment it so that we can be on the same page. Fine. Hope everything is ready. And this is the imports that you need to do for the icons. This is the import that you need to have to work with that. Once you are done with the basic setup, we will be getting this particular design. And in this SCSS, you might be getting this as 40%. I have changed it to 25% because we will be needing some other stuff here. And 25% is kind of good to work with. Now in the HTML, what am I going to do? Let me just show you. This will be my design now. Let me just design it up quickly, then we will work with the other stuff. So this is a design which I will just integrate where we will have a button called authorize with biometrics, whether it is Face ID, fingerprint. If that is not working, you can work with the passcode also. That is how it's going to work. Don't worry, we will understand the functionality once I'm done with the design part. And here on, you will see I am just using an iron row where I'm passing some margin and an authorized class in which, what am I doing? Well, I am passing margin top to be of 2 rem and working with the button where I'm passing the same gradient which I have passed for this particular button here. Okay, just the alignment was different. After that, the iron text that we have within this, I'm just passing a font size of 0.9 rem and a span which is available for this particular text here. I'm passing 0.8 rem just to have the proper design part. Then this particular one I am passing here by default. Where did I do that? Not here exactly. I need to go to the HTML part and show you what exactly I have done here. For this particular button, I have passed the color to be light color, and on click of it, you need to call the delete credentials. So what we are going to do here is we are going to fill up this form and go for login. Once you go for login, we are going to save the credentials, and with the help of biometric authentication, we are going to retrieve the data. That's what we need to do, right? Now, in order to achieve that, we have performed the designing part. Just one thing is left, which we need to perform in our app.component.ts file, is to work with this trash icon. Once we do that up, we got this, and you need to import it here. So these are the imports that you need to work with, and you will be ready with the design part. I'm not going in depth with the design part because it is very simple to understand. If you do not get it, just check the code and implement that up. Fine. After this is done, the main part is the implementation that we are going to see in the TS file. Up till here, everything is good to go. The next thing we need to work with is perform biometric verification. Now we need to enter somewhere. Where do we need to enter? We need to enter the capacitor biometrics part. So I have searched on Google, and this is the link that I will be getting. So I have already opened this particular link where it says that it only supports capacitor 3 and 4, but currently we are using capacitor version 5 where it is working. So we are going to implement that up. Now within this is the code that they have used for performing the biometric verification part. And for the GitHub file, this is the link. Okay, let me just show you here. This is the one which you need to open it up. So I have already opened it up where we will get all the stuff in details what exactly we need to perform on. This functionality I am already using, okay, in my code. If you just check this out, this is the same functionality that I'm using, but little bit different. I have made it out because I am wrapping it up in try catch block every time so that we can check the errors properly. After that, I have just written save credentials in a different functions, delete credentials, and create credentials in a different function, which is not done here. It is written all together, okay, which is very much needed because we need to use it in some places or the other as per the requirement, not all at once, which is not a good thing to do. Now here, at first, I'm going to check what all things are there. So for the methods is available function, we are using it up in order to check whether any biometrics stuff is available or not in your device. And there are certain properties which we can directly check. There is an is available options where you can use fallback. Now what is this use fallback? It specifies if the device should fall back to using passcode authentication, mainly required for the iOS one, but for Android also you can use that out. Okay, so what it means is if your authentication via fingerprint or the Face ID is not working, it will fall back to the passcode one. And there are some other stuff also for verify identity, which will be used for verification. That means the authentication part for the Face ID or the fingerprint will show up, and you need to show your fingerprint at that point of time. This is the code for that. All right, and in this particular code, they are using await, and it won't return anything. It means it is a promise, but it is of type void. So there then and catch is used in order to return something like true if there is some result, and catch in the catch one, if there is some error, then it will return false. That's what they have done so that we can check whether in the verified one are we getting something or not. And if there is false, then we are going to simply return. We are not going to go ahead. That's what they have done, which is in fact great thing to do. Now, what are the other things for the verify identity? There are certain options that we can pass. If you just check it out, this is the biometrics option. We need to check it there. So in the biometrics option, you have the option to pass the reason. Now here, whatever reason I have passed for the authentication purpose. All right. Now title is login. By default, it is authenticate. You can give whatever you want. There can be a subtitle also. This title is for Android prompt, and subtitle for Android prompt, description for the Android prompt, negative button text for the negative button displayed on Android. So this is also for Android. That is a cancel button that can be shown, and maximum attempts, which is very much important. How many attempts you want to make for the biometrics authentication to be done? By default, it is 1, and you can have maximum up to 5. So you can just try it up. It will take up to 5 times. It will try to attempt for authentication purpose for biometrics of yours. If it doesn't work, it's going to fall back to the passcode one. You can just try that out. But we are going to mostly focus on the first time that we get it. And use fallback. Again, it's going to specify that fallback to passcode. By default, it is false. You just need to turn it to true and it's going to work pretty smooth. Okay. So what I have done is I'm just using its simple stuff, description, title, subtitle. If you want to pass, that's it. I'm not doing it any fancy stuff here. If you want, you can use here, use fallback. You can set it to true. And in fact, max attempts, you can set it to like 2 times or how many times you want. You can just try it out. Anything else? Well, negative button I don't want. So I think I'm good to go with this particular stuff here. Nothing else we need to worry about it. And kind of type of errors that you can get, biometric auth errors. These are the number codes. And what does it mean? It's written here. Okay. Now set credential options. What are the options that you have in your set credentials, which will be used for saving the credentials in your keychain for iOS and in the key store for Android. So in the set credential options, we have username, password and server, which are of type string. So these are the stuffs which you need to pass. Now, what is this server? Any string to identify the credentials object with. All right. So here by default, they have given an example. In the server one, they are passing www.example.com. In that case, I'm simply passing what? Let me just show you. I'm just creating a property called server where I am passing www.FaceID, which is my subdomain ID, and techniques.com. That's my main domain ID. So just a normal thing that I'm using. I don't have such a subdomain as of now, but still I'm passing something which is unique, okay, which can be identified pretty easily here. That is why I'm doing so. Now we have understand what we need to do for set credentials. We have seen what we need to do for verify identity. We have seen the stuff that we get or the options that we get here. We have seen for is available also. We have used fallback stuff. And yeah, this is one more thing which is very much interesting, that if you want to check what is the biometric type that you have right now, if it is equals to biometric type dot face ID, then you will understand, okay, fine, face ID is there. That's how you can try all the other stuff and work accordingly. If you want to like verify or use some specific ones, then you can do that up. And in fact here, if it is not available, this is how it is being checked. And they are simply returning it if the biometric stuff is not available for your device. So simply these conditions are pretty easy to understand. That is why I'm not explaining in details. And these are the stuff which I have already explained for the options one, options for all these things except create credentials and delete one. In these two, this is not very much important because just we need to pass the server, because the server needs to be same in delete and gate one, because after saving only we will we'll be able to fetch that particular stuff from with the help of this server. Okay, so it basically behaves as the ID or some unique stuff which is used for verification purpose. That's it. And this is the only stuff we have here. Nothing else is available. So it's time to try it up. In fact, there is one more called credentials. I think this is a function that we need to use. We can use, which will be used to return the username and password. Let's say you want to return only the username. I think you can use that up maybe. So, or you can use, I think, okay, this is great credentials. Within that, you can pass options of great credentials. So these are the only stuffs which are available here. You can just try it out if you want to, but credential one is not needed right now. I don't think so. Now, how to configure this for your Android and iOS? That is very much important. For the iOS, this is the string you need to copy and paste it in your info.plist file. So let's get there in the info.plist file. Let me search for that because I have already added the platform and I have already shown you how to add this up. In this particular one, I have already added this key and the string for that. This is basically used for permission purpose. Now for the Android one, what exactly we need to do? We need to add this in Android manifest.xml file. So let's get there, Android manifest file, and I have already added this stuff here. Anything else we need to do? Yes, we need to work with the main activity and pass something there too, but not exactly the same because we are using capacitor version 5 as of now. So in order to work with that, I'll go to main activity, but before that, let me just check it. Have I done anything else? credentials? No. Let's get to our main activity now. In the main activity, what have I done? I'm using this override function here on create, and this bundle needs to be imported. So you need to pass this import here, which is very much important. Otherwise, you will face some error. Once that is done, you need to register plugin. You cannot use this add function anymore. It was used in capacitor version 3, I think, not in 4 also. So you don't need to use that. Register plugin should be used, and within that you need to pass it up. After that, super.onCreate function needs to be passed. So the order is very much important to be used in a proper manner. And these are the imports that you need to pass, and that's it. Not the package one. Package one will be there automatically as per your package name. After this is done, I think nothing else we need to do, and we are good to go. So all the options are done. We have seen everything, whatever we needed here. And now we are good to test this up in our native devices, because it will not work in browser. So you have to make sure that you are running in your native device. Even you can keep a check also in your code. If you just go to home page, TS file, I have not kept a check here. I'm just checking whether it is available or not. Okay. And in fact, in save credentials also, you can check here whether it is available or not. If you don't want to check, you can simply stop it or comment that code. That's it. And in the save credentials, what am I doing? I'm just passing a parameter called data, which will hold the value for email and password. So I'm passing the email here for the username and password from the value that we are going to get from our form. So whatever email and password I'm going to pass, if the form is valid, then I will simply pass it in the save credentials, the value that we are going to get from this particular form, and it will be saved using the save credentials function. After this will be done, we are going to use the great credentials for fetching our data. If there is any error, it will be caught here, and same goes for the delete one. Now this is also a promise. You can simply use a try catch here too, but I don't think that's required now. So yeah, design is ready. Let's try this in our device, but before that I'll run Ionic Cap sync to sync all the code changes that we have done with our native ones. Once the sync is done, you need to run it in Ionic Cap open. Let's go for Android first. So Android Studio is opening up. We are going to try that there. Now my device is detected. I simply need to go for the run button, and it will be installed in my device. Alright, I'm installing it in my device, and the design is showing up. That's great. Now what I need to do is I need to enter the credentials, and to show it here, what I will do is let me open up Chrome, inspect. This is what I'm going to use so that you can check it out, whatever I'm doing, okay, in the logs itself, because in the front end we haven't done as such that it will show up all the things. Alright, so let me pass technics@gmail.com, and for the password, let me pass 12345678. If I don't pass or if I miss anything, I'll get an error here. So this is also working. If you want to check the password, you can simply check it in this particular way, and this is done. Now let me simply hit on login. So once I hit on login, you can see set credentials. So set credentials is done. That means there is no error and it is properly set. Now let me click on authorize with biometrics. What happens? Let's check it out. So here I'm getting an error actually, and the error code is 14. So what this error code 14 means, you need to check it in this particular GitHub one. We saw it somewhere, right? Passcode not set. So the passcode is not set in this device. I just took a device to show you that this errors actually works. Now I'll take another device where we have this stuff, because I don't want to waste time in setting it up, and we'll show you the result properly. Now I have connected to another device. Let's check it out here, how it goes. So I'm going to pass technicsgamer@gmail.com, and 12345678 is my password here. Let's go for login and check it out how it goes. In order to check that up, I'll again go for inspect here, and this time again we see that the set credentials is working. Now authorization part is left, so I'll click on authorize with biometrics, and I'm getting an option for fingerprint. It's done, and you see here I'm getting back the password and the username in this particular way, because in our code here, let me just show you, we are passing the great credentials along with our biometrics one. Okay, so as soon as the verification is done, I'm catching the stuff in my get credentials function. That is what I'm doing, and in this particular one I will get back all the credentials that was there. That means the username and the password. That's what you are getting here. So it is working perfectly for our Android device. It's time to test for iOS device. Let's go. Now I have connected my iOS device and I'm going to open this up in iOS using this command. I'll just hit enter and the Xcode has opened up. After this Xcode has opened up, I cannot test it in simulator. So the real device that is connected, I just need to check that and hit on this run button. It will install the application in my device. One thing we didn't check in Android device is the delete functionality, which we are just going to check it now. What does it actually mean? So I have got the app ready, which you will see it on the screen. Now, before starting anything, I will open up my Safari browser, go to the develop and go to the localhost one. After that, I'll just hit the reload button so that we can check what exactly we are getting here. Okay. Now I'll enter a credential. Let me go for nykz786@gmail.com, another email of mine, and any password. I'm just passing it here. This is the password which I have passed, and I'll go for login. Once I go for login, it is set. If I hit on biometrics authorization, let's check it out. It is detecting my Face ID and I'm getting back the username and password. Once that is done, what I'll do is, so I'll go for another email without deleting to check it out what happens exactly. So let me pass NY and 786, let's say 1. Okay, so I've changed the email ID. Let's go for login. It is set. Now if I hit on biometrics authorization, and what exactly we are getting back is the earlier email ID, not the changed email ID. So in order to get or in order to change the email ID and the stuff here, we need to delete the credentials. Basically, we don't need to delete all the time. Whenever you are logging out from your system, at that point of time, you can delete that up if you want to. So I'll just hit on the delete button here and you can see delete credentials is being called where it will be deleted. And now if I change the email ID to something else, which is very much easy to understand, let me go for techniques.com and hit on login. And this time if I authorize it, this is the one. You will see this particular username which we are getting that we just saved, right? And again, if I try to go for a different ID, it won't work. So let me just show you once again. Let's say Techniques 1, save it, biometrics. We are still getting the earlier one, which you will just see it here, right? But if I delete it once again and hit on login, again checking it out, this time we will get Techniques 1. So I hope you have understood. Alright, we have come to the end of this video and it was a very healthy video. I hope you liked it. If you like it, make sure you hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Do check all the courses and code scripts which are available. Links are in the description. Go and enroll right now if you haven't done that. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up for the day. Thank you so much for watching and I'm going to see you next time.